Hi, come on in. I'm just going to finish putting away my groceries. I already got the freezer stuff and the refrigerator stuff put away, so I'm just going to finish putting all my pantry stuff away. So go ahead and have a seat because when I get back, I'm going to show you, or when I get back, I'm still going to be here, but when I get done, I'm going to show you how to make 3 meals out of one Costco rotisserie chicken or any kind of rotisserie chicken. 3 meals, one chicken. So have a seat and I will be back when I'm done. You'll have to let me know if you like grocery hauls or like pantry, put away, organizational kind of content because I know personally I love watching them, but I don't know if anybody else does. And I don't want to subject you to anything you are not comfortable doing right now. So let me know if you'd like to see grocery hauls from Costco, Winco, Walmart, all the places, Ulta, Trader Joe's. We were out for about 8 hours yesterday, so it was a great time. Wallet's a little smoky, but you know how it is. So let me know, and I will see you back here in about 2.5. Welcome back. What do all three of these little piles of ingredients have in common? Individually, they're just three components of meals. But what are they missing? Rotisserie chicken. This one chicken is going to make barbecue chicken flatbread pizza, Philly chicken cheese steak sandwiches, easy weeknight chicken enchiladas. Let me show you how. Okay, first, let's get to picking this chicken. After we pick it, we're not going to throw it away. We're going to keep it and throw it in this Ziploc bag and just throw it in the freezer for now. And then we are going to use it to make chicken stock a little bit later. I think maybe tomorrow. But I want to put it in the freezer just in case I don't actually get to it tomorrow. Then I don't have to worry about it. All this jelly, all this congealed goodness, put it back in the bag and save it because we want to put that when we boil the chicken. We're going to use that because that's just all good stock. It's like just, I don't know, just congealed chicken juice. It's just complete flavor. Okay, I have my chicken de-skinned and broke into sections like the breast and then the leg and the thigh and the leg and the thigh. And then I went ahead and picked the wing portions and put them in the bowl already. But what I like to do is times like this when I am trying to get the most out of the chicken, I'll just like to break it in chunks. That way I can take my time and pick each chicken part separately so I can make sure I get all the chicken. But normally I just kind of shred it off and then throw it in a bag because I will boil it, and then after I boil it, I'll pick the rest of the meat off of the chicken. But this time I just want the meat, and then I'm gonna basically just boil the bones and make stock out of it. So I'm trying to get all the meat out of it I can right now. But you definitely don't have to do this. There's also what you can do is while it's still in the bag, when it's warm, another little fact is it is easier to pick a warm chicken than a cold chicken. So like for instance, I bought this chicken last night, and I put it in the refrigerator. And then today I popped it in the microwave for about 2 minutes, just kind of warm it up and soften it up. So I was able to work with it better. But if you get it hot when you get home, if you just take the bag, and while it's in the bag, if you rub it and like massage it, or you can put it into a Ziploc bag and then you massage it. All the bone, all the meat like shreds off the bone. I haven't really tried it yet, but I have seen a lot of people talk about it. So next time I get a hot chicken, I'll try it and let you guys know. But if you try it, or if you have tried it, let me know, because if it's a less mess hack, then hey, can only help. I think I'm gonna go put an apron on so I don't get chicken stuff on me, just because I keep leaning over a bunch and I'm prone to mess. Another little tip, instead of sitting there shredding each piece of chicken like I'm going to do for the chicken breast, but all these random pieces of meat from the thighs and the legs and stuff, if you put it in a bowl, take your kitchen shears, you can just cut it. Chop, chop, chop. Put it in. It's so much easier than kind of just taking your fingers and shredding each individual piece, because when you pick those portions of the chicken, they tend to come off in smaller chunks, where the breast is easier because it's a whole chunk. You can just shred it in your fingers as you go. So you just throw your meat in a bowl, take your kitchen scissors or kitchen shears or whatever you want to call them. Snip, 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 snip. All different directions. As you can see, they're kind of the size of shreds, but they're kind of a little bit more chunked. So sometimes, depending on different recipes, shredded is better, but sometimes a rough chop or like cubed. So depending on what you want to do, you can do this. And then if you want more shreds, it's easy just to take it, kind of pinch it in your fingers, and then it just shreds apart. So when you, for instance, the barbecue chicken pizza, you can give them a little shred and kind of flatten it out so it's not a big chunk of chicken. You just give it a squeeze, and then it will flatten out to be a more manageable bite-sized piece of chicken. So I'm going to chop this with my kitchen shears, and then I'm going to shred my chicken breast over. And I think what I'm going to do is, after I shred it, I'm going to take my kitchen shears back, because when I shred it, they're going to be large, but I want everything to be kind of uniform, because I'm not going to separate my chicken for each meal. I'm just going to shred it all into be kind of same kind of size chunks, and then use a whole bowl and split it up between all 3 meals. But you can separate it into long shredded chicken breast if you want these for like the chicken enchiladas, if you want more of a long shredded chicken rolled up in your tortilla, and then save this for like the sprinkling on the barbecue chicken pizza. Or if you want more of a solid piece of meat on your chicken cheesesteak sliders, you can leave a hole, or maybe not so thick, but make them a little bit smaller, and then set chunks of meat on your on your bread of chicken, if that makes any sense. Okay, we got our chicken bones in a bag labeled, and throw those in the freezer. And we have our bowl of shredded and chopped chicken, which, honestly, with all 3 of these meals, depending on how you want to work it, you can work it however works best for your family. Whether you grocery shop one day and you get your chicken and you pick it all and you leave it, you have it just your bag of chicken, and it will last in the freezer, or it will last in the refrigerator for the week. So if you have your bag of shredded chicken in the refrigerator, and you just take it out and use it per night as you want, or if it's easier to put it all and then individually bag it up, or if you just want to have a rotisserie chicken in your fridge and pick it as you need it, whichever one works. But by looking at, because this says it's a 3-pound chicken, I'm looking at this bowl of chicken. Each of these 3 meals you would be able to get 2 out of. So when you're making the chicken enchiladas, because what I'm going to do is use these metal pans for my chicken enchilada, and then I'm going to do the chicken cheese, Philly cheese slider, Philly chicken cheese sliders, chicken cheese Philly sliders, these chicken sandwiches I'm finna make in a minute. Those I'm just gonna bake them in this metal pan. But anyway, make 2 when you're making the enchiladas. You're making 1, you might as well make 2, and then you can just freeze it, because all 3 of these meals you can freeze. The pizza, once you put everything on it before you put it in the oven, just wrap it in saran wrap and toss it in the freezer. You have an already made meal for later in the week when you get home from softball practice late or whatnot, and you need something quick to eat. You can throw that in the oven. Same with the sandwiches. Before you put them in the oven, throw them in the freezer. The enchiladas, before you put them in the oven, you can throw them in the freezer. So all 3 of these meals can actually be doubled. And I'm pretty sure just this one bowl of chicken will make now 6 meals. You can just go a little bit like more of an even layer of chicken instead of making them just so fatty. you can just kind of cut the chicken in half, which will still be ample amount of chicken, but you can get one. Remember what I said before, cook once, eat twice. You can have one for now and one in the freezer for later. So, or if it's easier for you, you can just make it as you eat it, but that's fine. But for me, sometimes I get on a roll where I'll just cook every single night, and then some nights I have other things to do. So it's just such a help to have when I have leftovers, freeze it, or if I'm making one and I have more, I'll either just put it in the refrigerator and save it for later, or I'll just go ahead and make a whole nother meal that I'm already making, like chicken enchiladas, and throw it in the freezer. So, wow, that was just a whole lot of things to say real quick. Without further ado, let's get started. Also, I think before we get started, I'm going to just season up, just do a basic season on my chicken because I just don't want it to taste super bland. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this complete seasoning. You can use Johnny's, or you can use like an Italian seasoning, or you don't have to use anything. I'm just going to put some pepper and some salt and some garlic and some onion powder in it and give it a stir. And then just so my chicken has a little bit of flavor, I like to season every layer. Okay, I think we're going to start with our barbecue chicken French bread pizza. I just sliced it open and I put a little bit of butter on it. I'm going to pop it in the under the broiler for a minute to kind of toast up, because I feel like it holds up a little bit better with all the sauce, the barbecue sauce and stuff. With that toasted layer, it just helps it not get so soggy. So we're going to brown this back up, or we're going to brown it up, and then we'll be right back. Okay, our bread got a little bit of toast on it, so we're going to assemble it. Now this, depending on how big your family is, can be one meal, because you figure about a half of one, because then the half will be two halves. So there's basically 4 pieces per half. So one loaf of French bread is about 8 servings, depending on the appetite size of the people you're feeding, I guess. I think with our family, we usually do 3. Okay, we're going to start by adding some barbecue sauce. You can toss your chicken in barbecue sauce and put it down if you want, but I just like to sauce the bread, and then I put the chicken down, and then I put sauce on top. Spread that all along the sides, top to bottom. Give it a good coat. Then we'll go in. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of cheese. A little bit of cheese, and then some chicken. And then some cheese. That way the melted cheese can hold the chicken onto the French loaf and it doesn't fall off. We'll go on with a nice little even layer of cheese. You can add whatever kind of cheese you like, whatever amount of cheese you like. I personally prefer white cheese. So whenever you see me cook, majority of the time, it will be white cheese, mozzarella cheese, provolone cheese, Monterey Jack cheese. But if I use, sometimes I use cheddar, but not often. And if I do, it's usually like this mix with white and cheddar. Just not a real huge cheddar cheese, straight cheddar cheese fan. Okay, chicken. A little even sprinkling of chicken. That way every bite gets some. Then I'm going to go over with a little bit of barbecue sauce, kind of like do layers. We'll go back over with some sprinkling of cheese. I'm going to do each side a little bit different. One side will have no onions, extra cheese, and this side would just be traditional with a little bit of finely sliced red onions and just a little sprinkle of cheese, like a normal amount. This person likes it cheesy. So we'll just thinly slice up a little bit of red onion to sprinkle on top of the traditional. Well, not traditional, because anything I make most of the time is most definitely not traditional, and authentic is just a remake, just like my take on everyone's classic meal. So some real thinly sliced red onion. And in the spirit of why be ordinary when you can be extra, oh God, onions are burning my eyes. Let's add a little bit of parsley flakes. Okay. Anybody got time to wait for that? And there you have it. Barbecue chicken French bread pizza. You can, at this point, what I was saying is you can wrap it in saran wrap, and then like wrap it in tin foil and chuck it in the freezer to pull out at any time you need a French bread pizza. But I am going to pop it in the oven and feed it to my family now. But like I said, even if this is what you were doing for dinner tonight, grab another loaf, and as you're cutting it, cut it once, cut it twice, have all four, slap, 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 a little assembly line, and make four instead of two, and then you have two for the freezer and two for dinner. Side note, look what I found in the refrigerator from not last night, but the night before's dinner. A piece and a half of, we did from that um, crock pot barbecue chicken I made. I have a piece and a half of barbecue chicken. So, waste not, want not, I always say. I'm going to label it 1.5 BBQ chicken breast and throw it in the freezer. Look, we meal prepped. I'm sure that will come in handy at some point. Somebody can thaw it out, take it to work, have a piece and a half of chicken breast, or slice it up and have another barbecue chicken pizza, or make some sliders, make a sandwich, shred it. Possibilities are endless. Sorry, that was weird. Anyway, so I'm going to do this and throw this in the freezer, and then we'll be back to finish what I was doing. But I just wanted to pop in and say, hey, this is what happens in real life. You find something, let's be honest, people. Let's be thinking. Throw it in the freezer. Eat it tomorrow. Okay, so for our Philly chicken cheese sliders, I am going to slice up a little bit of onions, and this is totally optional, but I am going to toast, not toast, but kind of like saute up the chicken, the pulled rotisserie chicken, and with some onions. Well, first I'm going to do some butter, put some onions down and kind of soften the onions, and then throw the chicken in to kind of get it a little warm and crispy. It'll start to brown a little bit. And then I'm going to put it on the sliders, and then I'm going to add cheese. But you could, I mean, traditionally, or, non-traditionally, but most of the time, normally people would add like peppers and onions, but I don't like peppers. I don't like green peppers. So unfortunately for my family, that means that I rarely cook with them because I don't like them. So I don't think about it unless it's a meal that I'm going to make for them that I don't plan on eating. Then I'll do peppers, and kind of like fajitas, I'll do the peppers, red peppers, green peppers, onions, all that stuff, but I just don't eat it. So I'm just going to saute up a little bit of onion, mix with my chicken, and then put that on the bread for the sliders. But if your family doesn't like onions, you don't have to do it. Or you could do it on half, or whatnot. You just kind of, all these recipes are customizable. So do what you want with what you have. I just cut off a small little piece, like a little I don't know, quarter of it maybe. And then it's going to slice it up thinly. And then I'll break it apart and saute it up. That way it will mix well with the chicken. Actually, I lied. I'm not going to do that. My chicken is small. I want everything to be kind of bite size. So the chicken is smaller pieces because remember we shredded it and then chopped it up. So I'm going to thinly slice my onion and then I'm going to give it a rough chop so that as it cooks with the chicken, it's all combined. So everything you get in one mouth feel like, or like one bite. Because I get to talking so fast. The either I'm talking so fast or I can't remember what the heck it is I'm trying to say. The provolone cheese. So anyway, we're going to put the chicken and onion mixture down and then put slices of provolone cheese, and then it will melt and kind of just hold all that chicken in. And then so when you take your slider, you'll want the cheese will hold everything together. So basically what I'm saying is I'm going to chop up the onion finely so it's about the same size as a chicken. So everything is roughly about the same size. So it's all the same bite size. And that was a whole lot of explanation just to, dumb it down a little bit and say everything's going to be bite size. Oh, you know what you could do too? I don't know why I didn't think about it when I was at the grocery store. But you can get that easy onion. It's the already like kind of like a shredded onion in a like a little jar. You just kind of squirt it in. They have easy onion, easy garlic, and easy ginger. You could even do that as you're sauteing your chicken. Just give it a squirt of that. That way, you can get the flavor, but not so much the chunks of chicken. I mean, not so much of the chunks of onion. If you have picky eaters or people who don't think they like onion, or like notice any speck of onion and they'll pick it out, you can just use the easy onion. That way you get the flavor. It's just less chunks because it's so fine. It basically just cooks. It just like melts when you cook and then cooks into whatever it is you're cooking. So on medium heat, I'm going to melt about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to add in my finely chopped onion. Give a little swirly, a whirly turly. A swirly. Haven't heard that forever. Wonder if kids nowadays even know what a swirly is. Once these get a little bit soft, I will add in my chicken. Okay, so my onions are soft, a little soft and translucent. So I'm going to add in some chicken. I'm going to do in 2 handfuls, so probably about 2 cups. And just give these a toss. Get them all coated with the onion and butter. Get it all warm. I'm going to flatten it out to even layer, and then I'm going to cut the heat down to about medium low so I can start getting the bread ready. So while the chicken is back there warming up, let's get our rolls ready. We're going to start by taking it out of the package. We're going to slice it in half, and then we're going to make a little spread. Now, again, you go off of what your family's taste preferences. I'm going to mix a little Dijon mustard and mayonnaise together and spread it down, and then I'll put my chicken mixture and stuff on. Gonna cut this in half. Hardest part is trying to get it even. Moment of truth. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to do a little Dijon mustard and a little mayonnaise, mix it around, and then spread it on my bread. But you can do just mayonnaise. You can do regular mustard. I mean, You could even do ketchup. I mean, I'm not the one eating it. You do whatever you guys like to eat. You don't even have to put sauce on it. You can just have it dry. If you're doing it for like a party or for a crowd, just make it with no sauce. Just make it with the meat and cheese. And then you can set that aside and have like a little condiment area to where you have ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, Dijon, different toppings, anything you want. And then people can get their sandwich, get their little slider, and make whatever they want or put whatever they want on it. So, a couple dollops, top and bottom. Give it a little even slather. There we go. Now we'll take our chicken and onion mixture and put it evenly. Wait, you know what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick this up and put it in my pan before I load it all up. That way I don't have to try to not spill it. Because with the warm chicken, it will make the bread even softer. And this kind of slider buns are already soft, so we'll just assemble it inside the pan we're going to cook it in. What's that saying? Work smarter, not harder. You could just dump it in, make it easier. But I'm trying to, I don't want to make it a big mess on the outside. I'm trying to keep it contained on the inside. That way, if I kind of put it towards the middle, I can push it out to the sides and I can get an even layer without losing so much chicken that I have to pick out with my fingers later. Okay, well, clearly easier said than done, so, make sure your chicken is evenly spread out from the middle to all the way to the end, because like I said, the provolone cheese is going to melt and hold all that chicken together. I mean, if your family really wants to be cheesy, you can put a layer of cheese down and then your chicken mixture and then cheese, but I'm just going to single layer the cheese. So much hand washing. Seriously. Oh, my heavens. They said, oh, you're making an easy meal? Well, let me make you work for it. Okay. So I'm going to kind of overlap my provolone cheese. I'm going to do about 3, 6, 9. I'm going to do about 9 pieces of cheese. And there are how many rolls? 4, 8. There's 12 rolls. Oops. On with the lid we go. How did this? I'm going to melt about a tablespoon of butter, and then I'm going to mix some parsley in it, and then we're going to spread it on the top. Actually, I'm going to do parsley and some garlic. Okay, So if you were going to bake this now, you would put aluminum foil on it and put it in the oven. But if you wanted to save it in the freezer, save it for later, or if you made two, one for now, one for later, you would just put you would just put aluminum foil on it and throw it in the freezer, right on the aluminum foil, what it is, and throw it in the freezer and have it another day. But here it is, the chicken Philly cheese steak chicken Philly cheese sliders. Oh, I forgot to tell you, once you put the aluminum foil on and you put it in the oven, you'll want to bake it for about 15 to 20 minutes on about 350. And also, your French bread pizzas are about the same, 350, 15, 20 minutes. You'll want to watch it. Okay, let's assemble these enchiladas. I'm going to do a can of cream of chicken soup. Then I'm going to start with 1 can of green chili enchilada sauce and see how thin it is, see what we look like. And because I have 2, so if we need both, we can do that. But we'll start with 1 and go from there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cans. So for a 26-ounce can of cream and chicken soup, you'll want 2 10-ounce cans of the enchilada sauce. So basically 1-to-1 ratio. Give it a good mixing. It may seem a little bit thick, but also as it heats up and the cream of chicken soup heats up, it will thin out a little bit, which will also absorb into the flour tortillas is what we're using today. So I think it will then get absorbed and then thicken. Okay. Also, I'm going to put my cheese in a bowl so I can just grab out the bowl and fill the tortillas, because if we don't end up using all the cheese, I don't want to keep the cheese if it has, stuff from my hands being grabbed in there from the tortillas, chicken and such. So I'll just keep refilling my bowl as I need. And then any leftover cheese, will go on top, but this cheese will be chicken finger free. Use my onion cutting board. I'm just going to flip it over. Okay, let's start with our pan. I'm going to put a thin layer on the bottom. Of our sauce. Oops. Give it a zhuzh. Get that coated. Almost pulled it out. Give it a shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your sauce. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to move some stuff around. And here is where you could change things up and make things different. You can do your chicken, but you can also add cream cheese. You can add Boursin cheese. You can add a different kind of cheese. You can mix. Sometimes what I'll even do is mix the cheese and the chicken together and then just grab handfuls and roll it in. That way, as it heats, it holds all that chicken together. But if I don't use all this chicken, I'm going to save it for something else, and I may or may not want cheese in it. So I'm opting to keep it separate. But if that makes it easier, you have less chicken, or if you just want to save the chicken and cheese, or if you're not plan on doing anything else with it, add your chicken and your cheese together, and then whatever you run out of tortillas and you're done, you can just sprinkle the cheesy chicken mixture on the top of the tortillas or on the top of the enchiladas and bake it like that too. So let's get started. These allergies got my nose sniffling. So I'm going to add a little bit of chicken on one side, kind of in the middle, but kind of more on the one side. And then I'm going to add some cheese, because what I'm going to do is kind of hold it with my hands and then roll it over to hold it in, and then give it a roll and then put it in the pan. Let's bring it closer so you can see, shall we? Come on, come a little closer. Don't be shy. Okay, tortilla. Some chicken. See what I was saying? It's kind of more towards the end, and then from side to side, like an even little layer. And then I'm going to sprinkle the cheese same way, because in that way I can take it and hold it and fold my shell, my tortilla over it. And that way there's filling from end to end, but it holds it right on in and makes it tight. Oops, falling out. Then we'll just stick it in our pan and continue on the same way. And see, like this, a big piece of chicken. If you get the big chunks of chicken, just give it a squeeze and break it up a little bit. That way it's a little bit easier to cover the surface instead of having a big chunk of chicken, because sometimes those can pop through your tortilla too. Again, give it a fold, give it a squish and a fold, fold and roll. Oops, broke my tortilla. Well, that's okay. You'll never know. Sometimes, see, like this tortilla seems a little oval. I don't know if it's showing up on camera really. But if it's oval, I like to put it a long way, and then I add my filling. So then when I roll it, I have like a more longer tortilla. A longer enchilada. That way you get more of the filling and less tortilla surface. Just a bunch of rolled up tortilla. You get more rolled up filling. I think I am going to go ahead and do 2 pans of tortillas, or 2 pans of enchiladas, because I have 9 in here, and I still have, well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, because I have some extra chicken. I have more chicken, and I have more cheese, and then I have more tortillas. So I think what I'm going to do is just bag up each component separately, and then I'm going to throw it in the refrigerator, because these will make good chicken quesadillas for lunch. So then any sauce I have left, they can also dip their quesadillas in it. I'm going to spoon or pour, whichever you prefer, this sauce over the enchiladas. I like to do each one separately, like one at a time. That way I know each one is fully covered. I like to push it around the side. That way I make sure the sauce gets down and around each enchilada, so there's no dryness. The shells are not dry, or the tortillas. Because then as it heats and as it cooks, it will thin out and it will run down in between. So I just like to give everything a little shush. Everybody's happy. Everybody's tucked in there. Then sometimes as you're pushing the sauce down and around, you'll put some more over the top to make sure the top is fully coated. Boom. Oops. We'll take, actually, I'm just going to take the rest of this cheese and sprinkle it on top. No, I still have other cheese in the bag. I'll use that for the enchiladas. I mean, for the tortilla. What do I mean? You tell me at this point. You probably know better than I do. For the quesadillas tomorrow for lunch. So we'll just do a nice generous sprinkling of cheese from end to end, top to bottom, side to side. And then, because you know what we are, extra, extra, I'm going to put some parsley flakes on top. Boom. Easy weeknight chicken enchiladas. Again, you can put tinfoil on it and throw it in the freezer and have it for an emergency freezer meal, or you can pop it in the freezer and eat it now. I mean, pop it in the oven and eat it now. And then you can do, like I said, you could do two, one for the freezer, one for dinner. And this is, I mean, it seems like everything is basically the general census all across the board. 350, this will probably take 350, 30 to 45 minutes, honestly. If it's frozen, it'll take probably about an hour and a half. So there you have it. One rotisserie chicken, 3 dinners, and a lunch. Or it could be 4 dinners because you could do the chicken quesadillas the next day for dinner. Or you could go a little bit more sparingly with the chicken and have 6 dinners. You could have 3 in the freezer and 3 for the night. So, well, not 3 for the night. Well, maybe if you had a lot of people, you could just do the little buffet. But anyway, so 3 for the freezer, 3 for dinners. So we will come back and I'll show you the finished product once they are cooked and ready to be served. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I have the enchiladas in the oven now. I am going to wrap these up and throw them in the freezer. And I'm going to wrap up my chicken Philly cheese sandwiches. Well, actually, they're already wrapped up. So I'm just going to write on them what they are. And I'm just going to put them in the freezer. And I'm going to wrap these up in saran wrap and throw them in the freezer. Because I only have a couple people home today. So why make all this food and nobody here? So I have something else planned for tomorrow for dinner. Because my initial thought was I'll just make them today, make this videos for you guys, make this food today, and then we'd eat it, tonight and then tomorrow. But I'm going to do something else tomorrow, and then half my fam are not at home at the moment, and they won't be home until tomorrow night. So, freezer, already another meal for another day. Freezer, already a meal for another day. Dinner in the oven, meal for tonight. But I have a little person in my house. Well, I guess he's not so little. He's very much bigger than me. But anyway, he doesn't like this sort of thing, so I made him the other French bread pizza. I just made a garlicky cheese French bread pizza. So that's what's for dinner tonight. When the enchiladas come out, I'll show you that. But the other things, well, you'll just have to wait until I make them. And then if I can remember, I'll show you when they come out. But you can probably, assume what barbecue chicken pizza looks like when it comes out in sandwiches. But hopefully I can remember, and I'll take a little picture of at least of it coming out. I don't have to do a whole video, but I'll just try to take a picture for you. So anyway, I guess I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Well, probably about 45 minutes when this comes out of the oven and we plate it up.